there was no color in the dream. It was like all black and white.
So I was being chased by this giant T-Rex, and I was like, ah! And then I realized that T-Rexes aren't around anymore, so I figured I was dreaming, and then I manifested a bazooka in my hands, and I turned around and blew it up, and like dinosaur parts rained everywhere.
And all the audience that was wearing what looked like upside down fish bowls. And they had like these like things on. And then I remember looking at it, and then like something, I don't know if it was like a voiceover in my head or if it was a voiceover in the building, but it said something about Disney. And I'm not sure what that is. And then the hats, all the hats started shrinking, like suffocating people, like plastic bags, like old plastic bags. But everyone's hands were free. So I thought in my head, I was like, dude, why don't you just like rip it off? Everyone's hands are free. And there were, as soon as I thought there were a couple people in the audience that had ripped it off. And so I started like walking out. It was weird because it was like people were like fleeing something, but everyone was just kind of walking out. Like it was like slow. And then there were like these two, I remember there being like these two super butch chicks, and they were like talking about like alpha dog, only the alpha survivors.
So one time I had a dream that this lady, she was really obese, like she weighed like 1,000 pounds. I don't even know if that's possible. But she was angry at me, and she started throwing things at a trash can from me, and then she jumped on me.
I was sitting in my car, which is one of my favorite things to do. Sit in the car. And I kept on finding different compartments in my car. Like I have a CD compartment, player thing. And it's like one of those 6 CD disc changer things. But then I found another CD player. And so in my dream I put in a CD, and I was already listening to one CD, and then I put a CD in the other one, and I was listening to 2 songs at once. But not only that, I found a bunch of other compartments. Like I found another change drawer that I'd never known about, and it was filled with nickels, and I love nickels. And I found this other change compartment, and it was empty, which was cool, but it was still another change compartment, which wasn't there before, but it was in my dream. And then I found a bunch of air conditioning valves, like, air and heating valves, and they were like, blow out air. But it was like my car was like supercharged, like it had all these super, really intricate things everywhere. And I kept on finding different compartments that I did not know existed. And I went out there this morning to see if they were real, and of course none of them are real.
And so the big brother, he's like really good at sports, and he's really athletic, and he's like near and dear to the father's heart. And then the smaller brother, it seems like he's like a surrogate one, like he's adopted or he was brought into the family or something. And anyway, they're running, and there's this weird cave. It's like this strange crevice down in the floor where the 2 boulders had come together, and it had made like this little tiny crack, and beneath this crack, the wood floor opened up into like this weird cave, and there was like this hand-painted lion, kind of like in a Lion King, And anyway, that was the end point. If you got there first, you won the game.
I was visiting my Uncle John, and my grandpa was there. We were visiting him in Palm Springs. He lived in like this very nice, like, it was kind of like a home, but it was like outdoors. It was nice. And we were going somewhere, and we were going on a boat, and we were like on this dock, and it was really beautiful, and it was like sunny, and it was like really pretty. And so I was like, I'm gonna take a panoramic picture. And so I was taking a panoramic, and I almost fell off the dock because I was like really committed. And then I fell off the dock, and I had my iPhone in my hand, and I was like, so I fell off the dock, but there was another wooden dock on the other side, and then there was this guy, and he was like, I'm gonna become a turtle. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm gonna become a turtle. And he started biting the dock, and like a turtle bite. It was like really weird. And then the dock started to sink, and then I started to go down with it, and that's when my friend DG had to come in. It's either DG or Emily. I can't really remember right now. But if it was DG, she morphed into Emily later. But
things, but it ended where I was on the ski slopes, and I was not skiing like I usually do. I was ski blading with this kid that I met in Europe. We were up there because it was actually a salt mine, and we were mining for salt. But after I would dig up my salt with this little hoe I would bounce up and down on these ski blades, kind of like moon shoes. Do you remember moon shoes? So it was like moon shoes, and I would jump up and down, and then I saw my parents, and I was like, ski blading is way cooler than skiing.
Was access to like an RV or something, which I don't really know how. And right as I was leaving, I heard like two guys come out from the back and say, "What the hell are you doing here?" And they said something implied that they were going to take us hostage, but I just kept running, and I ran to the car, the Beamer, and I just blasted off down the road and never looked back.
And so they're running over there, and brother one ends up getting stuck in the crack, getting stuck in the ravine. And so they go and send the friend to go get the dad, and brother one and brother two are standing there fucking panicking. And while they're waiting, I remember my view switched from like an omnipotent view, like looking down on the scene, to all of a sudden looking out of brother one's eyes, the one who's being stuck in the ravine. And I remember just being like bound like this, like not being able to move, and being like stuck in rock all the way up to my shoulders and like up to my neck, not being able to move.
I was like standing in the middle of the field. I remember standing in the middle of the field, and I was like wearing like some like flowy thing, and I was just like letting the wind blow, and it was just like totally free. It was so cool. It was so cool.
and then I woke up.